when you have that kind of comfort, like when VCs have that kind of comfort, because they're thinking, yeah, I'm going to invest, and when is this segment going to take off, and will it take 5 years, will it take 10 years, and I have to return to my LPs, and so their thinking is very different. So they would want to come in at a point when it's actually going to take off. I mean, imagine we have to wait like 3 years for before subsidies to come in or some of these to make sense. We have just started 18 months back, so I don't have a lot of context what happened early on. But I come from software industry, so before that I had a software venture. So I can compare my like understanding from the previous one where we raised that time and this time. See, for entrepreneurs, I think VC is anyway like it's one of the most important pillar, right? But what I've seen is there are very few investors in India who backs hardware-based product, and I mean there's a lot of inherent risk and all of that, which is quite understandable. We have been lucky that there have been, I mean, we had investors like Bloom and Emergent and a couple of folks, and we are talking to a couple of more guys. But one of the things that I've realized is that the kind of comfort they are looking for, even in like early stage, and this is no way like this is just my stand, is like it's very high as in like as compared to what I had seen early on. So I mean they are looking at like comfort of a mature stage startup at early stage, and I understand like why it's if you're on the other side. I mean their main thinking is you're going to compete against like not just one or two big guys. I mean there are like 10-15 big guys, and you are going to compete against 10 of these big guys. So obviously there is a lot of risk, not just from competition, but then there is manufacturing and technology, product, all of that kind of risk. One of the things that I think that could have been a bit better is, I mean, and just to support some of the things I think that we discussed on the panel was the government's role. I think government has been at least in the recent years, I've seen that their policies have become, I mean, it's kind of like, going up and down, but it's going toward a direction of e-mobility. So some of that, and because I think because of that, a lot of interest from the investor community and some of that is in the EV segment, but still it's kind of back and forth. I mean, it's going forward, but I mean, which I am assuming it's extremely complicated, right? I mean, there is transport, there is power, there is finance, there is all of these departments interlinked. So, I mean, it is bound to create confusion. I mean, nobody's like dealt something like these kind of transformation. But when you have that kind of comfort, like when VCs have that kind of comfort, because they're thinking, yeah, I'm going to invest, and when is this segment going to take off, and will it take 5 years, will it take 10 years, and I have to return to my LPs, and so their thinking is very different. So they would want to come in at a point when it's actually going to take off. I mean, imagine we have to wait like 3 years for before subsidies to come in or some of these to make sense. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think as an entrepreneur, we are overly optimistic of the market, but it's going fairly okay, I think.